welcome. I am Ashysource, aka Ashy, and today we are talking about Dragon Age: The Veilguard. Today we're talking about the gameplay reveal that they just released, and we're gonna get into some more details that they shared in some articles. And unlike last time, it's not gonna be an hour-long video or nearly that. This is gonna be just a quick video, so let's jump into that. If you guys are interested in this kind of content, you guys can like and subscribe to see more. Let's jump in. Jumping into the reveal, we are seeing some new gameplay, and the gameplay looks pretty good to me. We also see the way the Minthrathis looks, and we get a sneak peek of what Snowless looks like and what's going on after you see Solus for the first time in the game. They cut out a decent amount just so we don't get spoilers, but for what they showed off was much more for just 20 minutes than I thought we would see. They showed them demons going through the street and knocking people off the streets and stuff like that, grabbing them. They were showing people getting arrested in the beginning of the reveal. Is wild. A lot of the stuff that was going on in this trailer was just like, I can't believe this is happening, I can't believe I'm seeing this kind of thing. You see how the characters get knocked down, and then there's pride demons, and the Pride Demons had a super new upgrade because they do not look like the ones from Dragon Age Inquisition or Dragon Age Origins, actually. They look like they haven't finished, like, developing, kind of. Like how in the original, they were, like, all, like, really, like, full-on monsters. Like, you could not see through them or anything. In this one, you can actually see through them. They kind of look like they're, like, unraveled a little bit in the middle parts and stuff like that. So it's really cool. You also get to see some stuff with Scout Harding. They also call her the hero of the Inquisition, which is very strange, as she didn't really do much in there. This is one of those things that I will mention that is something that I do not like what bioware does, and it's a lot of times when they just randomly add in something like that, like, oh, this character from the past that did literally nothing, they're actually a big deal just because we put them in another thing. I like this. I liked Scout Harding in Inquisition. I thought she was a really interesting character and wondered why she was not a companion compared to the other characters that were in there. But she wasn't really a hero of the Inquisition. Only in the comics they did add stuff related to her and Charter and stuff like that, but they were kind of side characters. They didn't really do much in the actual storyline, so I don't actually know why they made her like that. I genuinely wonder that. But moving on, they brought back the wheel like in Dragon Age 2 and Inquisition. They have similar looking ones from like Inquisition and Dragon Age 2. They like the comedy one that was supposed to be in there. It looks much more upgraded. We also get to see how the combat works for Rogue. I'm really excited to see the mage because I usually play as a mage after Dragon Age Origins. I was played as a rogue, but now I play as a mage in Dragon Age 2 and 3, so I'm excited to see what kind of combat they have in there. We get more cutscenes. We see how beautiful the game is. The game looks way better than what they showed in that trailer, and once again, I still don't understand why they did that when they have such beautiful work in here. Like, if they didn't want to show off the characters that way, they could have shown off a quick like cutscene from here and then say full trailer is on like YouTube, and then people could have went to go watch the whole gameplay trailer instead of just waiting like 2 days for it. I feel like that ended up screwing up the game. That ended up screwing up like this because it also has a lot of dislikes on there at the moment. It is shown that it has 68k dislikes, but it has much more likes this time. It has 52. I think the one on there, but when I was recording my video, it still only had like 30 something, while it's had almost way over 100. So yeah, they definitely upgraded this time, but a lot of people are enjoying what they're seeing, so I am very much enjoying what we're seeing. Later on in the trailer, we get to see how Neve was, and I showed a gif of that from their YouTube yesterday, and now we get to see it again in the trailer. Next we get into the trailer, we get to the part where Solus is shown, which he looks like they just kind of ported his model. Like, they showed a very decent looking CGI one before, and now they show this one, and I'm just like, I actually like the other one more, but this looks like Solus from Inquisition almost exactly, except his eyebrows are better. His eyebrows are so much better in this one, and I don't even need the whisper that because it's true. Then we see Varric trying to talk to Solus out of this, and then he breaks Bianca, the last crossbow in Dragon Age history, basically. He crushes it, and then they go and break down one of the statues that are there and try to stop Solus. Solus stops it himself, and it shows mysterious figures coming behind him, which I'm guessing are the elven gods that were there, but they look kind of like they might be some kind of demonic force. They look mutated, and I'm wondering if this has something to do with red lyrium, because it seems like the Darkspawn have red lyrium, so I'm wondering that. I forgot to also mention that they have a choice in this part where it shows that you can make choices for these characters and they can disapprove and approve and stuff like that. So this is very interesting. I'm actually surprised they didn't add in advisors in this game. Also it shows Neve, and I'm pretty sure she has a wand instead of a staff, which is so interesting. I wonder if they're gonna do that in this game, that instead you can get some wands and stuff like that. That's very interesting. There's also one thing I would like to say that is kind of a complaint. I don't know if this is, I don't know if it's just me, but does Solus sound weird to anyone?
We shared a journey years ago. Do you believe that I would do this if there was some other better option?
You shamed him when you destroyed Haven. Spoiled his glorious victory. It would be worse to acknowledge that you had done so. He must continue on his course or show weakness. He will return to his plans to throw Ole into chaos, and then conquer it for Devinter.
Like, he sounds extremely weird. Like, he sounds kind of like an oldish man. Like, I know that the guy who plays as Solus, he recorded audio, at least what it seemed like, in like 2017, 2018, whenever we got that thing from Summer Game Fest or Gamecom or something like that. They showed him voice acting, and it sounded like Solus, but here it doesn't. And that's why I'm wondering, did something happen to his voice, or did they cast him? It just sounds very strange. Other than that, that's basically the entire thing. We're gonna go into some details real quick before I get too far into talking about every single detail in this trailer, but it's a lot of stuff going on there. People are saying that you can see like the Black City and stuff like that. You're gonna be able to see the Black City because of some of the stuff that you see, and I wonder if they are gonna show the Black City in this, because when he broke open the thing, it was in Manrathis, but it didn't look like you could see like a crescent sun, like a crescent moon, like kind of thing, or the moon like going into like an eclipse. That's what it looks like, an eclipse. You don't see that, so but instead you see like a breaking open of like the veil, and it looked like it was going in, and then you see like starry stuff in there, but that's it. Now we're gonna go into a detailed little thing. I'm not gonna go into too much detail. I'm not gonna read it like last time because I failed a lot in that video, and I felt like I could just do more justice by screenshotting it and then showing you. We're gonna look at something from Shinobi602. He had a tweet, and I'm gonna screenshot it for you guys and let you read it. So you pause here, but what I'm gonna do real quick after I put up the thing on the screen is that I'm gonna just kind of go over it a little bit and just say small things, like basically a summary of it. So here's your screenshot. Alright, the ultimate preview summary. It's coming to the PlayStation, the Series X, and PC. We already knew that. It's gonna have performance modes and a quality mode, which is 60 FPS. I'm excited for that because every game keeps saying that they're gonna have a 60 FPS and it doesn't, so that's gonna be interesting. As a photo mode, if you watched my last video, I was begging for that. Fully offline single player, no EA account linking or microtransactions. It's like we should have had this in Inquisition, but this is great actually, and now you don't have to do that. And also there was another tweet I seen that said something about you don't need to use the keep, instead you'll just choose choices. It's really awesome because you don't have to use the servers, and I've used the keep, and there were times where the servers weren't on for some reason and I could not use Dragon Age Inquisition. So this is much better, and also you could just play offline, and I think everyone needs to be able to play offline. You can play as an human, elf, dwarf, or Qunari. You can choose from 6 backstories, factions in your backstory. Apparently from a IGN article, it's not going to be like Dragon Age Origins or anything, but you can choose multiple choices that's going to be connected to your background. You won't get any new quests or anything apparently, but that's interesting. Each faction will have 3 distinct buffs, like being able to hold extra potions and do damage against certain enemies, and odd references into dialogue, which is super cool. There are some killer cameos from the past games to show up. I hope Zevran or the Warden, and maybe they just have him wearing like a helmet and stuff like that, so you can't tell, and just choose like, oh, my Warden was a female, and then they're just wearing that, and then that's it. Like, they don't do much, because that would be really interesting to see that. So you can have like Zevran and Alistair or something like that. Please bring back Alistair. I want to see him again. That's gonna be fun. Warrior classes can use a sword, shield, and 2-handed weapons to send enemies flying. Rogue classes utilize quick movement and reflexes. That's super cool because they showed that in the reveal and it looks super cool. So I'm starting to think about being a rogue again. Mage class can use magic to incinerate, freeze, electrocute, and crush. Some cast from far, and while others class close quarter combat. I'm guessing you're not gonna get close combat with a mage like the Dragon Age 2, which was really cool, and I wish that they would do it, but probably not. So let's move on to the more of this. They said each class has 3 sub specializations. They basically didn't really have specializations in Inquisition because they were kind of weak. So I want to see what these are in there, but I hope that they have something like Night Enchanter for mages, because I used that and that was the only one I actually liked. Classes also have unique resource systems. For example, Rogues has momentum. They brought back momentum. That's so cool. Except this one will build up as you. Oh wait, you can use it after you build up consecutive hits, and each always has a range option. That's sick. One Rogue momentum attack is a hip fire option we saw for a rogue bow, letting you pop off arrows from the waist. That's so cool. Another momentum attack for warriors lets you lob your shield at enemies. Quests are more handcrafted and mission-based, curated with alternative paths, secrets to discover, and optional content. I really hope so. I'm so over Inquisition's awful like quests. I know people hate them. I don't really like them even in like Final Fantasy 15 because they had a lot of those too. But the combat was more fun to do, so I usually didn't mind as much in Inquisition. Not Inquisition, Final Fantasy. So even if there were like fun ones like in Origins, where they were just like some drop-off quests, just being like, oh, I found this item here, and then you bring it to them and then they give you some money. Even those are not too bad as long as you don't have every single quest those. There are also open-ended explorable areas. I hope that means they're kind of big but not too big, because I'm kind of tired of open world games. Party size is of 3. Combat, like Mass Effect, combat is focused on real-time dodging, parrying, and counter. Sophisticated animation, canceling, and branching. Really hope that's true, because I hate when games do not have combat like canceling for certain moves. It is so painful. Using risk rewards charge attacks designed to break enemy armor layers. I hope they just don't make anyone bullet sponges or damage mages. One of the worst things about Inquisition was that was painful. Enemies have elemental weaknesses and resistances. You can chain together elemental combos for extra damage. They kind of had something like that in Inquisition, but they didn't really do it well, because sometimes there were people who were not weak to anything at all, and you're just sitting there being like, so what do I do? One example is a squad mate using gravity well attack to suck enemies in. Wait, so they have something like what Jacob had, because Jacob had something like that, I'm pretty sure, and then you could shoot them while they're floating, right? I'm pretty sure anyone could learn that in Mass Effect, but I just remember Jacob having that. You can't take direct control of companions like past Dragon Age game, but you can still pause and issue ability commands for you and your allies. It's just Mass Effect. It's just Mass Effect. The hub area for players like Skyhold and the Normandy, called the Lighthouse. It's interesting. Companions eventually will start romancing with other characters if you do not opt to romance them. That's interesting. I don't really care for that, because they did that in Dragon Age 2, but sometimes they'll choose people that I personally don't see their chemistry whatsoever, and I'm like, okay. If it's like randomized that someone could play the game and then they're like, oh, someone's romancing somebody else this playthrough, you're just like, what I didn't think that. I didn't expect that. And then the next time you're like, oh, those are cute together. Which, like that, if it's something like that, that would be interesting. But they're probably just gonna be like, kind of like, what was it, Josephine and Blackwall, and they're gonna be like, oh, that's that. I struggled to get that to happen, and then in the ending, it was nothing. You're just like, oh, you get some dialogue of them liking each other, but it does nothing because they break up anyway, and you're just like, ugh, disappointing. Each companion also has unique missions tied to them that play into the larger story. That's interesting. They have nudity confirmed. I don't care for that because I don't care for nudity. I think it's kind of weird. That, like this, people can like whatever they like, but I don't believe in nudity in video games. It's just kind of weird. Incredibly deep character creator. 5 categories, including lineage, appearance, class, faction, and playstyle. Players can also choose different body types and shapes. Dozens of hairstyles to choose from, individual strands of hair rendered separately and reacting quite remarkably in game physics. Ooh, I'm so cool. Wait, it's pulled from EA Sports? I'm so surprised they did something like that. That's so cool. Character creator lets you adjust the lighting so you can ensure your character looks good. I can't wait to see that. That's wild. The team wanted to balance the look of the game with both light and darkness. When everything is dark, nothing really is dark. For one, we wanted to build that contrast again. Skill tree is vast. You can set up your specific companions with certain kits and tackling specific enemy types to being more supportive of healing and flexible all around. I don't know. Also, they have tarot cards. There are tarot cards you can go through the character creation process that lets you choose choices from the past game. That's interesting, and they tease you may lose characters during the story. Hey, I was joking in the last video saying that they ain't gonna let me kill people. They actually might let me kill people. Not that I would. It's just that some people can be just awful and do that. So, something I really wanted to quickly mention is that they have that you break the veil open again and basically Inquisition happens again, which is really interesting that they chose to do that. Like, instead of stopping him, they have it that he basically wins, right? That he gets what he wants. He basically wins. So I wonder what's the point of that in the game. That's only me. Lastly, I wanted to mention that there's apparently 4 voices like in Inquisition, so you can get to choose. So other than the Rook voice that you heard in the reveal, you can also choose other voices too, which is really interesting. Lastly, I want to also show off some of the new art that's in there. I'm just going to have a little slideshow so it's easier to just get through because this is going to be a decent edited video and I want to try to get it out tomorrow. So here's some of the art that I found on Twitter or somewhere else. So I'm just gonna put these on the screen and just like flash them through, just keep going. And lastly, I wanted to show off the art that they just released. Like, some of them are showing the other characters and things like that. Still a little weird looking. Someone I know said it kind of reminds them of Psychonauts. I can understand because a lot of these images have really, really big, like, bright light on there that makes them kind of cartoony and orange and stuff like that. So I can understand to a certain extent. They kind of look clay, kind of like Psychonauts. I don't think it looks as weird as Psychonauts, but that's what they reminds them of. But it still looks a little like that, and I'm just gonna show off the art really quickly on here and just show off that they showed off some new stuff so you guys don't miss out. It's probably gonna be flashing while I'm talking right now, but yeah, that's basically it for today. There was some decent information that just dropped. I don't want to get too much into like the gameplay reveal because I was saying that earlier. I definitely recommend checking it out. You guys can go on to my description and click the link. Go check it out for yourself. It's really good. It looks really good for now. I don't know the story and stuff like that. That's one thing I will always say, like, Inquisition got me in from Haven, but afterwards I'm not really interested. So I'm really hoping that this is a well-crafted story. I really kind of hope that this is the first of like this game, and then we get DLC, and then BioWare gets another chance, and then they'll make more Dragon Age. And even though I know people are like they need to move on from Dragon Age and stuff like that, I really think that whatever they make later on, even if I know some of the writers are no longer there, and you know, I hope that everything worked out for them, that they got everything that they wanted after they left and stuff like that, because I know they were protesting that and stuff like that. I just hope that they got everything they deserved and got their names in the credits and all that good stuff. I just hope all that happened, because even if that means we have to get another Dragon Age that's completely different writers and stuff like that, that's not like Mary Kirby and things like that, I just hope that maybe we can get more Dragon Age stuff in the future. Even if it's not video games, it could be stuff that's like books and things like that, because that was really good for Dragon Age. Like, I don't think we're gonna get a book this year. We got To Winter Nights, but we're not gonna get anything else like The Calling and like the ones that we had before Inquisition. So that's really different. But yeah, that's all we have today, and I guess I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you next time.
Whoa, 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 I'm just a man missing you. Please understand, without you, I'm dying.